Hello and welcome back to the Boardroom. I'm Greer.
And I'm James.
And we're going to talk all about one of my favourite tasks on The Apprentice this week, the discount buying task.
It is such a good one, isn't it? And familiar scenes for us.
It is, but I love it because they managed to find items that we have never heard of, or even like weirder, the candidates haven't heard of, but they seem relatively normal items. So there's two reasons why this whole task is great.
Absolutely. So if you didn't know, or have forgotten somehow, here's a recap of what they did this week. So the discount buying task. So they are were let loose in Stratford upon Avon. And they had a list or a folder. I don't know why it's a folder. I think we touched on that last time, of 10 items ranging from rhubarb to boat hooks and peacock quill nibs. And they obviously had to go around without the internet, sourcing these items, trying to get them for the cheapest amount possible. And of course, there's the classic finds and the race to the finish line, which this year was at Warwick Castle.
It was. I thought Warwick represent throughout this episode. I was like, I've been there. Lots of these places. Unlike Austria that we had earlier in the season. Something I liked at the beginning of this episode is that Lord Sugar decided to just turn up at the house. Everyone was there in Crocs and barefoot, which I found really embarrassing watching on the television. But the fact that he just turned up because he was like, you know what, even I'm going to admit it's an early start for you tomorrow. So I'm not even going to pretend or turn up in hologram form. I'm coming round the night before.
Absolutely. He always looks, I don't know, it's always slightly awkward when he's just standing at the door.
I know, but that makes me think though, Lord Sugar, he's of that amount of wealth that he doesn't need to go somewhere and stand and ring the doorbell. Like, people will open the doors for him. He doesn't need to stand there and wait. So this might be one of the only times he's like, ding dong, and has to wait like the rest of us.
Exactly. Maybe he enjoys the novelty, I guess, of doing it the other way around. We would enjoy the novelty of having a door held open for us.
That's true. It's like when celebrities go grocery shopping and they're like, this is the most exciting thing ever, and we're all bored by it. So maybe you're right.
Exactly. So for those of you who didn't know, we are slightly late recording. My fault entirely, because I've been on holiday.
I know, it's all right for some, isn't it? The rest of us had to stay here in England or wherever, freezing, while you jet-setted off into Europe.
Yes. So while I was in Europe, I didn't have my trusty computer, so we have paper notes this week.
So can I just ask, before we get into talking about like our favourite moments and all the other stuff, did you stop your holiday with your fiancé? I'm guessing you're with your family as well, or maybe you just went the two of you. Did you just go, hang on a minute, holiday needs to stop because I've got to watch The Apprentice back home and make notes on a notepad?
Yes. Yes. We were in the middle of, oh my goodness, so some Disney film. I can't even remember what we were watching. Encanto.
Okay.
Yeah, so halfway through it had to stop, and on to iPlayer we went.
Okay, I like that. I was thinking maybe you were out sunning yourself or something. You're like, hang on, I need to get back in and make notes. But I guess stopping a film halfway through is still bad, but not as bad as what I was expecting.
Yeah, not too bad. You can let me off.
So let's go through some of our top moments of the week. And as always, we've written down some of our favourite quotes. And this time, I really, really loved, I said in the introduction, I love it when we get an item in that folder that everybody sat at home knows exactly what it is, but one or two of the candidates have no idea. And I cannot believe one of the items this year that somebody didn't know was rhubarb. What?
Yes. I can't remember who was it who didn't know.
I haven't written that down. I feel like I didn't want to name and shame, but the fact somebody came back in and said, think of a really big pink celery to describe it, which was an excellent definition. It looks like that 100%. But you don't know what rhubarb is? What? That is a load of rhubarb.
Exactly. It's my top moment of the episode, though, has been made into an Instagram reel. Not by myself, I'm afraid, but it is. I don't use the platform Vinted, but it is very relatable. And the reel was basically, I think it was captioned something like "Every buyer on Vinted." And the clip was of, I can't remember the scene, but basically you're probably thinking what it is now. It's where the seller goes, £20, or how much would you sell this for? £20. And then I think it's Nadia, I've got written down here, goes, hello, my friend. Can I make you an offer? £1.50.
I absolutely died. That's not an exaggeration. I absolutely, really could have paused the television when she did that, because what on earth? It was just so insulting and just so wild. £1.50. You are right. That is Vinted. It's a good platform, but you put anything on there like £5, everyone's like £1 all the time. No, it costs, like, for me, it would be more than £1. The effort I feel to walk to the post box. So no, but yeah, Nadia, I've actually written ha 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 in my notes.
It was a brilliant moment. I think I laughed out loud.
Oh, it was great. It was so good. I've written shear a whole sheep for £1.50. Ha 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 is what it says. Madness. So I told you this was a great episode. We do get some amazing moments. Going back onto the rhubarb theme again, Johnny tries to come into these scenarios where he's talking to a client. He tries to be very charming, but it backfires for me. Maybe it's because we're watching it. If he was actually trying to sell me something, maybe I'd be charmed. But I have a quote written down. How do you like your rhubarb, Richard? I love mine stewed down. Don't just say, I love a rhubarb crumble. No, I like mine stewed down. So it's not in its purest form.
It's quite niche, right? Most people would go to a rhubarb crumble.
Sorry,
not stewed.
Newbarb.
Newbarb. Yeah, stewed rhubarb.
Stewed,
not had it.
It's not even a food stuff. You could literally say, I don't know what it would be, rhubarb and custard, whatever. But no, just part of the cooking process, stewed down. Ridiculous.
Although saying that, I have had stewed apple. It's all right.
That is good, but you would have it with something else and it would turn into a dish, surely. Did you just eat it from a bowl?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe I've been missing out.
I was served it. I did not make it myself.
Was there anything that went with it? Cream? Custard?
Maybe.
Pastry?
Maybe custard or cream, actually.
Okay.
Does that redeem it?
That does redeem it a bit. It turns it into a dessert rather than just like, I don't know, I was imagining like baby food or something when Johnny said that.
Yeah, no, that was good. What have I got written down here? But yes, that was my other moment. Malika butting in with the random retail price of what, £25 to £30 I've got written down here. I can't remember exactly what that was. She
said when they were talking about buying a fleece, they were saying to the person that owned the sheep, the recommended retail price is 25 to 30 or something, just butted in after they were trying to haggle down. Just where did she get that from? I know selling, you do try and convince people, but are we really flat out lying here to get a sale? I don't know. Maybe people do lie. Maybe that's what you do in sales, but I don't know. Made me cringe.
The thing that made it funny was the negotiation was going lower than that retail price. So why? I just don't know. It didn't add anything apart from make it worse for the haggling.
I don't know if they panic and they try and chime in, or they think I've got to say something to help sell this because Lord Sugar will say I haven't done anything. But it does seem like actually panicking and just saying whatever comes into their head, which, yeah, not good. Funny for us to watch. Someone that did something else that I thought was ridiculous. I don't know why he was like this the whole episode. Just really trying to convince everyone that he was doing something good is Carlo, who was like, I was the only one who had rapport. I was the only one to build rapport. And I'm like, I don't know. I think others were trying to build rapport. Even Nadia with her £1.50 at least made the person laugh.
Poor Carlo. I don't think he built rapport with any other contestant because they all seem to go for him every single episode.
Yeah, it did turn into a bit of I dislike Carlo club, or at least Carlo's approach to business. Yeah. Someone else who said a funny line, Dean at the beginning said, I'm a haggler, so I'll be good at this task. I just thought, what a strange way to describe yourself. I don't think I'd want to be called a haggler.
Wheeler dealer.
Yeah, very wheeler dealer. Someone that put their foot in it, as well as talking about stewed down rhubarb, is Johnny, who said Lord Sugar likes a freebie, which really ticked off Lord Sugar in the boardroom, didn't it?
Yes, it did. I don't know. I thought... I'm not sure about that. I get the point about accuracy, but I feel like if they got more without paying for it, I don't know. I feel like there's some knack about that.
Yeah. It's not as bad as some of the tactics to sell. I mean, it's not an all-out lie. I guess it was more of a trying to persuade somebody. I did want to ask you about another sales tactic where it was Johnny and the rest of his team. They went into a flower shop and said that could they get money off if they went outside and shouted, like, I can't remember the shop's name, but you're the best flower shop or something. And they all stood outside on the curb and shouted it. Interesting technique, but it did seal a deal.
My fiance said while watching that, if I was there, it would definitely have scared me away rather than entice me to the flower shop. So not a great tactic.
Not
but
at
yes,
all.
it got a cheaper deal, I guess.
It did. Somebody who did try and get the world's cheapest deal, and I know we've laughed at some of the quotes, but this rivals Nadia's £1.50 for me of best moment of the episode, is Liam decided to bodge the boat hook. He saw a boat hook and they could buy it, but it didn't have the actual pole. So he decided to go outside, pick up a spade and do a bit of a bodge job and screw it in, essentially.
I thought it was decent. I thought, I'm happy Lord Sugar saw the effort there because, I feel using the brain.
Yeah, it was a bit of I don't know. I can't tell whether they should have had points for that or not because, okay, it was about finding the item, but if it was like a scavenger hunt or something, you'd probably gotten away with it and great. But because it's business and the other team actually went and were trying to buy the items properly, I can see why they didn't uphold it in the boardroom. But I just thought it all came down to timing and how many items they could find, and I just thought it was very funny that someone sacrificed their spade to try and make one of the teams win.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was good thought. Didn't pay off though. My final one is also concerning Carlo, and it was just the feedback in the car, and it was just a very awkward scene where I can't even remember. Was it Max?
Yes.
I think it was Max, the project manager. And Carlo was like, right, I just need to give you some feedback on that last interaction. I can't remember what was said, but it was funny. And Max didn't want to hear it and shut him down straight away. All a bit awkward.
Yeah, those two did seem to, I guess, be quite different personalities and rub each other up the wrong way throughout the task, all the way into the boardroom as well.
Yeah, definitely. There we go.
Now it's time for our elevator pitches, the part of the show where James and I go head to head and battle it out on our own tasks, much like the Apprentice candidates, and get given a set amount of time on the clock to pitch something out to you, our listeners, and then you can decide who is the best and the most successful and let us know on our Instagram. And I'm really scared. I usually am scared at this point of the show because it's just too much pressure, but I'm even more scared this week is because James hasn't yet shared what our elevator pitches are going to be. So please put me out of my misery so I can stop sitting on the edge of my seat.
Okay, so an elevator pitch. We're not exactly going to pitch a product or it's kind of an idea, but obviously in theme with this week's task where you had to hunt for items.
Oh no.
We are going to start the clock and you are going to be told an item at random, and you'll have to describe maybe who you would call or where you would go looking for this item. And
Okay.
I have come prepared with 2 random items
Yes, I love this.
that have been sealed by the independent adjudicator, i.e. Joe. So
Yes.
I don't know what I've got, obviously, and they're separate, so you could choose who goes first.
Oh, I really hope she's given you a hard one on there. And then me an easy one. Okay. I might say you can go first because I am scared, but I'd like to see how well you do it before I attempted it.
Okay.
I feel like you should open your bit of paper towards the webcam so I can read it and tell you what it is.
Okay, sure. And I told our independent adjudicator that they cannot be items from the show.
Okay.
Because that would be too easy. And hopefully they can't be easy items because we all know where to buy bananas. Hopefully.
True. Okay. I'm mainly excited. I'm excited to hear your pitch, but I'm mainly excited to see the words.
I'm
Okay.
scared.
I'm so excited. Okay, open. We need to get Joe involved. Yes,
Okay.
there it is. It says James.
So-
He's going to flip around the bit of paper so he can see before he does. Oh, let's see. Oh, okay.
What
That's
is this?
tough.
Are you going to reveal?
So, yes, we're going to reveal to James a bench scraper with a specification flexible.
A bench scrape. Has my time started?
No, because I thought you might need a few seconds to
Okay.
work out what that is.
Go for it.
Okay, ready, go.
Okay, so bench scraper, specification flexible. I like how she's done the specification. So I'm thinking immediately DIY tools. So I would have a look in the yellow pages or the phone directory for a screw fix maybe, or a B&Q, maybe a home base. Although, find out one of those, give them a call, ask for a bench scraper, see if they...
That is
No.
time.
That is time. Oh no.
Time
If-
already.
that was awful. If not,
You'd have
carpenter.
You'd have got to the
maybe.
home base.
Yeah.
Although was home base gone into liquidation? Or
Yeah.
does it still exist? Okay.
That's why I paused for a second. I thought it was shutting down.
Okay, that's tough. That is a short amount of time to do it. Do you know what a bench scraper is?
I do not. I had I don't know why, but as soon as you said it, but it doesn't go with the flexible specification. I wasted too much time talking about how I was impressed with the specification.
I also liked how you had the yellow pages out.
The yellow pages or the phone book.
The phone book.
Yeah.
Tough one. Okay. Our independent adjudicator has done her homework and picked hard items.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't know why. I thought bench scraper, as soon as I heard it, I thought I went straight to like an image of a plasterer with a, the flat sort of scraper thing. No idea if that's what
I'm
it is.
Googling it because I need to know. Oh, okay. Right. A bench scraper is also known as a dough scraper, invaluable tool in the world of pastry making and baking. It's what, I guess, scrapes the dough around.
Right, okay, well, home base would not have it.
They'd have said, sorry, sir, we don't know what you're talking about, but also we don't exist anymore.
Okay, on to your go.
Oh, I'm
30
even more stressed now.
As you know, 30 seconds is not very long.
No.
Right, let me just prep the timer. 0, 30. Okay, I've got it prepped, okay?
Okay.
Are you
What have I
ready?
chosen?
So I'm opening your piece of paper. And...
Oh, no. What?
Okay, right, okay. You have 30 seconds, Greer, to explain to the listeners where you would go to find a larding needle.
Okay, am I ready?
Yep, let's go.
Okay. All right, a larding needle. I would probably call up a haberdashery or a hobbycraft or something, because needle signifies some sort of sewing implement to me. If not there, a needle, what could it be? Again, I might have to go to the B&Q or a doctor's surgery or something. Where else do you get needles? I don't know, but I'm holding out hope that it's something to do with sewing and I'll find it there. But I think a specialised sewing shop would find it. Don't ring Hobbycraft. Okay. I was about to insult the Hobbycraft employees for their knowledge, so I'm glad we probably stopped.
So, a larding needle. Do you know where my mind went to immediately?
Yes. Where?
Lard, butter.
Yeah, I was thinking larder as well. I don't know. I went needle. Tough one. Let's have a Google.
I've just Googled it, and a larding needle is. I think it's to do with food again.
Ooh, okay. What is a
larding
larding needle?
A larding needle is used to insert small cold strips of seasoned pork fat, called either lardons or lardoons.
Oh, like bacon lardons.
Oh, okay. So it provides internal basting while the roast cooks.
Well, they wouldn't have known much about internal basting at Hobbycraft, so I don't think either of us are coming back with the right equipment there. Oh, that is good though. I like having a surprise element that we both don't know about though for the podcast, so we should do that again.
Yes, thank you, Joe, for making us look like fools.
I hope she's going to get a lot of enjoyment out of this part of the podcast this week. But as always, choose out of me and James, whoever you think had the best intuition there, and let us know on Instagram at Back to the Boardroom. And we'll find out at the end of the series who has won our elevator pitch competition. Now it's time to go back to the boardroom, where we discuss who did well, who didn't do so well, and who is going home this week, as well as what the secretary was doing and what the treat is going to be. This is definitely my favourite bit of the episode.
Are we going into the boardroom first, or are we looking at the secretary?
Well, I guess let's go into the boardroom first, and then we can have a listen to what you've spotted, because I know you like to watch, even when you're in Europe on holiday, you're going to have paused the television and got right up close to see what's on that screen, probably annoying everyone else on the holiday. So let's go straight to the boardroom. The first thing I've got written down, which we did speak about already, is that Lord Sugar and Karen and Tim didn't let the boat hook qualify, which I was a little sad about, because it was quite only fools and horses that moment, and I thought it was quite funny. But sadly, no, that didn't qualify. There was a little bit of, I was going to say squabbling in the boardroom. There was a few heated words between a few of the candidates, especially Max and Carlo, and then everyone and Carlo, it seemed. But what we haven't spoken about is there were some fines and some late penalties. Sometimes in previous years, we haven't had fines because people have found all the items and they've got back in time. But this year, both teams got fines. Just to go through them quickly, Karen said, I've got written down the rhubarb and the coal hood. Total fines £160, and then their overall total £535 and 15 pence. And then Tim's team, I've got written down the wine, the boat hook, and being late, and the total fines £377.94, with a total of £639 and 14 pence.
Yes, the numbers match on my piece of paper.
I was paying attention this time. So what did you make of it in the boardroom then, James?
It was... I wasn't sure who was going to win, to be honest, because obviously we had the rhubarb debacle. And,
yes, the pink celery.
Yeah, and it was quite like... I feel like a couple of teams got a good bargain where one, the other overpaid, and then there was the reverse with other products. So it was all seeming quite even. So I think, as it looks like, the fines are really what made or break the challenge. But yeah, a lot of, what's the word? There was a lot of arguing between Carlo and Max. I don't think they particularly like each other.
It didn't seem it. It was a bit awkward. I think Max seemed to be, I guess, quite a bit regimented, sort of had his rules of how he thinks things should go, whereas Carlo took that as that he wasn't allowed to speak or show his personality or really get involved. But he was also quite quiet throughout, but then seemed to talk a good game, saying that he was involved more than he actually was, especially if we watched the episode. I know there's editing, but he didn't really do much other than stand there and say, I was the only one that built rapport, but that's not true, is it? We had Johnny and the other guys shouting, you're the best florist ever. So I think other people built rapport.
Absolutely, yeah. And I can't remember where it was in the boardroom, but Alan Sugar learnt his lines. He recited some lovely Shakespeare.
Yes, he did.
Maybe that was at the start. I don't know. But
he recited some Shakespeare, but there was one bit that I found really weird because I didn't get it. He usually makes sort of silly jokes. And then he said something like, oh, I was going to recite my other bit of Shakespeare, and then said something that I didn't quite get. I don't think it was a joke. I don't know if he got flustered with the Shakespeare or I just wasn't paying attention. But there was a bit where I was like, what? What does that mean?
I can't remember.
No.
It went past me too. But do you think he had to learn those? Because he gave the impression that he knew that off the top of his head.
I don't know. He's good at learning those jokes every week, but they roll off the tongue maybe a bit more. I don't know. Maybe he had a secret bit of paper on the desk that he could glance down at and recite them. So it's no surprise then at the end of all of the arguments that Lord Sugar thought Carlo would be the one to go this week. And now I've got something quickly to add on that, because I was a bit late watching the episode. We'd paused it and we're watching Dragon's Den and then went straight into this, but I didn't realise that we were watching it on record. So I was about 10 minutes or something behind. And I made the mistake of going on and typing The Apprentice into Google, and it was saying on all of these news websites, shock, boardroom exit, somebody quits before Lord Sugar says things. So I was like, oh God, there's going to be an explosive firing or something tonight. And then it never happened. So I was on the edge of my seat, and then it just the person we expected went out.
I think that was a bit of media hype. I thought he was going to fire someone else and say, look, Carlo, you're PM next time. If you don't do anything, you're out.
Yeah.
But seems to be breaking the trend at the moment.
He does. I feel like maybe he's been asked to shake it up a bit, but at the same time, I do think if you've got all of the other candidates saying, well, Carlo, you didn't do anything and this and that, and really rubbing everyone up the wrong way, maybe Lord Sugar thought, oh no, I don't really want to work with someone like that can't really get on with a wider team.
Exactly, yeah. There was a lot of red flags from everyone else.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
And then, as always in the taxi, you've got the candidate there being like, this isn't the last you'll have seen of me, Lord Sugar, and Carlo was definitely like that this week.
And just to quickly add in, it's not very long. The secretary, again, same graphs all the time. Do you think they've done it just for me? Kept the same one every episode just to irritate me?
I hope so.
Unbelievable.
Someone on the production team has been listening and thought, we're going to leave this one bar chart on for James for weeks in a row.
Exactly. I bet they voted Greer too.
Yeah.
And then finally, on the topic of spotting things, Brandwatch returns for a quick snippet, and that is the OS maps, the pink Explorer maps they were given at the start.
Yes. Okay, so these are the moments where the BBC haven't covered up the branding so much, so it's still recognisable. That's a good spot, actually. OS reminds me of being back in like Year 7 geography or something and learning how to read a map, and that's a skill that would have come in handy probably for the candidates this week.
Absolutely.
So if we're in the boardroom, we're going to have to talk about the treat, because as regular listeners know, James always has some strong opinions on the quality of the treats. And this week, it was an immersive performance of the gunpowder plot near the Tower of London. What do you make of that?
It might disappoint listeners, but I actually thought it was okay. I mean,
well, that disappoints me.
It wasn't obviously top tier, but definitely I think the best we've had so far. How many treats have we had? I forget.
Three. So where does it rank? We've had here's just the house that you would have had anyway with a bit of Prosecco. We've had a rock experience, which really was a few wigs a guitar and some karaoke, and now immersive gunpowder plot experience. How do they rank?
So hopefully I haven't changed my ranking of the first two from the last episode, but I would go from the bottom, the rock experience, then the house drinks, and then the immersive experience.
Well, then we're just getting better every week. So
hopefully that continues. It'll put me out of a segment.
It will. I'll be honest, the house is probably my favourite so far. A rest, a house, and a drink, number one. Having to do these strange, like, performative things, like muck around doing karaoke, no, that makes me feel ill with the people, like the colleagues. Why would I want to do that? If I had to do karaoke, I'd do it with you. Wouldn't do it with people that I randomly work with, or at least work with for like a week on The Apprentice. Immersive performance of the gunpowder plot. First of all, the word immersive makes you again feel ill, but the gunpowder plot, what? That's not even fun. What is that about? Why do we want to relive that? I don't understand. What is it going to be? Oh, shall we blow up the government? Here's some explosives. Oh no, we've got caught. What's immersive about that? I don't know. It annoyed me. I had to rant in your place because you said it was good.
Exactly. I don't know. I think I would have enjoyed it, maybe.
Yeah, you're more friendly than me, so.
Friendly? I'm blowing up the government.
Okay, friendly to some part of society then, maybe not the elite.
Now we're at my favourite part of the show, The Apprentice News, where we find out facts about the house and other things.
I know it went very house related for several weeks, so James likes to remind me that I kept coming back being like, did you know they have a dishwasher and things like that? But I have got some news. One is perhaps more fun than the other. So I'll start off with the less fun bit of news. I mentioned earlier that there was a bit of some media hype around somebody quitting before Lord Sugar could say you're fired. And I really wanted to know who that was, because after the episode where I thought it was going to be Carlo, or Max got so fed up with Carlo, who was like, right, I've got to go. This is the worst thing ever. I had a little look. And so shall I say who it is? Shall I say spoilers? Or what do you think, James? Do I name the person?
Do we have a klaxon? Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
There you go. That's the klaxon. Okay, if you don't want to hear,
tune back in 1 minute.
Yeah, push the plus 30 seconds or something a couple of times on your podcast app, because I am going to say. So I found out that actually this explosive thing happens in episode 5, and it's actually Dr. Jana Denzel.
No.
Who I know that you've picked in some of your predictions because you thought he'd go far because of his dentistry, but unfortunately he actually leaves. He also was involved in another not so great moment on The Apprentice before he left, but the articles and the spokesperson for The Apprentice have said that this incident that happened and then also his subsequent leaving were not related. There were two different things, but there does seem to have been a little bit of an incident where he made a comment that could be taken as racist, which is a little unfortunate. Obviously, in the statement, it does say that he clearly meant no ill will with it, and it's been addressed and resolved, and the whole team were made aware of it and it was sorted. But it also says, obviously, that Jana withdrew from the process for completely unrelated and separate reasons, and he has our full support. So whatever is going on with Dr. Jana, I hope he's okay. But yeah, so it always a strange one when people leave before the end of the process. We did have someone either last year or the year before also do that as well. So who knows, but hopefully he is all right. Not so good about the comment though, but hopefully he's fine.
Yes. Interesting. Okay.
Yes, interesting news. And now this one is a bit more lighthearted. You may enjoy The Apprentice. You may have thought about applying for The Apprentice and never have. Well, there is another chance to be involved with a business type show, but this time it's a business show mixed with Love Island. So a brand new show is coming out that you can apply for. It's a competition series and it tests whether being in love and in business together makes for a successful partnership or an explosive ending. So it's called The Ultimate Power Couple. It's still in the casting stages. So as I say, if you're interested, please do apply because we want more funny things to talk about. And it's following ambitious young couples through challenges to uncover the best business duo. And the team will be awarded with a hefty cash investment for their business, plus big exposure to brands involved in the tough tasks. And obviously, tabloids, how they write is hilarious. So they'll also get bragging rights as the UK's most entrepreneurial lovebirds. Why do they talk like that? No one talks like that in real life. It's
interesting.
Yes, it's going to be a weird one. The series is the brainchild behind Jolly Octopus Media, which is behind Carpool Karaoke and The Late Late Show. Both of those are James Corden, so does that mean there's a James Corden influence? But yes, this is what happens if The Apprentice and Love Island had a baby, testing business-savvy couples in a series of challenges and putting their love life on trial too. Business meetings between date nights, strategy sessions across the dinner table, and boardroom showdowns that could spell heartbreak and financial ruin. So I wonder who would present that. Is it Maya Jama and an Alan Sugar mashup?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like this new Ultimate Power Couple series is going to break up relationships more than make businesses prosper, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Would you put your relationship through a test for a bit of fame?
So that's my part of the Apprentice news done. Now, James, you are looking at what the previous candidates from last series have gotten up to now. So who are we looking at this week?
So week 3, Asif got fired. Dr.
Yes.
Asif. So as usual, I have scoured the internet, or just his Instagram, to find what he's been up to. And I found one reel where there was one word mainly highlighted several different times, and that is creatine.
Okay.
Which I believe is a gym supplement. It's a supplement to help muscle growth, or I'm probably
You're looking at me, the woman that
wrong.
has gone negative times to the gym.
I think it's something to do with, bodybuilding and muscular building. So I guess he's into selling that. And also a quote from his bio is helping Muslims achieve balance through nutrition, fitness and holistic health. So I guess that is where his business has currently taken him.
That's interesting, because I remember previously he was sort of doing Muslim matching, like dating. So now he's gone into health and wellness, which is a new venture, it seems.
There we go, yeah. Wishing him the best of success. I've not had supplements, so I do not need...
All your muscle is natural, is it? Is that what you're saying to us?
Exactly. Yes, it's all natural, the muscle or lack of.
So that is it for the discount buying task. I'm glad that we got to talk about this one early on, because it is definitely one of my favourite tasks that come up on The Apprentice every year. Now, looking ahead to next week, we are doing food-related things with potatoes and tomatoes, and presumably turning them into something that tastes nice and then selling them off to the public.
Absolutely. We look forward to that. I'm hoping for some... I was going to say pasta, but potatoes don't really work with pasta.
Gnocchi. That can have potato in.
Yeah.
There you go.
But I like tomatoes, so I'm looking forward for a tasty snack.
I'm hoping that they create something that actually doesn't taste very nice, because it's always good when that happens. So more laughing for us at home on the sofa. As always, thank you so much for listening. If you haven't subscribed already, please make sure you do, and then you'll get notified every time we upload a new episode. And follow us over on Instagram at Back to the Boardroom. Now, James, do you have a final thought for us this week?
I do. Do you own a flexible bench scraper? See you next time.
Bye.